Hey guys, hope everyone's doing well. This year we will be finishing 8 years in business, so I'm excited to announce that. And I was just thinking about some lessons learned along the way, and I wanted to share with you guys some of the lessons that I learned personally. And may not be every lesson learned, but I'll give you like three or four important things that I myself feel that these are super important. First would be lack of market research. Uh, what I did when I was starting it, I observed many of my friends who were in the same field. And that gave me a very good idea of exactly what they were doing, how they were getting their customers to buy their product or their service, and then how they were actually making money. The rest of the processes are also important, but if you don't have a customer, then you can't make sales. You can't make any sale, right? So market research kind of includes, who are their customers, who would buy your product or your service. You got to know that first. And the only way to know that is to go out and ask few people, hey, are you willing to buy my service if I were to open this store, right? Or if I were to open this office and create this new service, who's potentially going to buy this product or service? You could do that. You could ask your clients directly, potential clients, or you could see what other people are doing that in your similar field. Are they selling to general public, or are they selling to another business, or how is the business coming to them? Right, that's super important. The second point that I've written on here is lack of repeat customers. So this is like super important. So if your business does not have repeat business, then most probably it's going to be very difficult for you to sustain it. Obviously, we like new customers and everything else, but keep in mind the repeat customers is where it's at. So one guy has to buy the same product from you for 5 times, 10 times, 20 times. Eventually, it'll be like 100 times or probably 500 times, right? So these are the customers that you want, because that's almost a guaranteed sum of money that they're going to give your business. And obviously, that's revenue, top line. With the help of that, you can make the bottom line if you control your costs and stuff like that. So repeat business, again, to me, that's very close to my heart, because that's where it's at. If you can make sure that you have plenty of repeat customers, then bingo, you have a business. You really do have a business at that point. And it takes a lot of hard work and trust and belief in your work and belief in you and your attitude. Every single thing plays into effect for getting that repeat customer base. So, and that takes time also. So that's important to build that over long term, so that you have a good customer base, so that the orders keep coming. Number three, failure to adapt quickly. So a lot of people, when they start their business, and I was almost the same way. When I started my business, I was thinking that, oh, you know what, I'm going to do this and all that other stuff. But in reality, whatever I thought is not right, because I have no experience in business, right? So I have to observe what other people are doing and respond accordingly. And in most cases, you have to be very nimble and very quick. And if you're not quick, and if you don't show velocity, then again, that's something that you're going to be hit on, right? Same thing, watch other people, watch people that are your competition. Pay a close attention of what they're doing and where the market is going in general. Even smaller things like what softwares you use, how do you do your processes. All those things are very important, because at the end of the day, once you have the client, your goal is to make sure that that client doesn't leave your office without buying your product or service. That should be your goal. But once they pay the money, how do you make sure that that guy will come to you next time? That's where it's at. We talked about the repeat customer, right? So again, that means you have to be very nimble and agile, and not only physically but mentally too, right? You got to adapt to these new situations. Every customer is different. So without adaptation, and if you have a strong mindset saying that this is how exactly I'm going to do it, I'm the owner. No, wrong. You're not the owner. You're the servant. Okay? You're the servant. As an owner, you're never the owner. You're the worker. Like, you're the lowest worker. You're helping everybody else. That's when you make money. Keep your resources low, and with the amount of resources that you have, the reason for keeping resources low is because at that point you're keeping your costs low, and from there you can make sure your dollar goes farther, right? So that's the failure to quickly adapt kind of mindset that pulls everybody back a little bit. So make sure you focus on that. Failure to learn from other successful entrepreneurs and customers. Very, very important aspect of business is you have to be a student more than a teacher. So keep that in mind. So if you feel like, oh, you know what, I quit my full-time job and I became a businessman or an entrepreneur and I'm going to now start training other people, good. But in the initial stages of your business, keep your mouth shut. That's what I did. I just kept my mouth shut and I was just watching everybody and observing what they do when they wake up in the morning. How do they start their day? What are they doing that I can apply to my life? I have a friend, Carlos, and I have learned so much from that guy. It's unbelievable. I mean, just by watching him do the things that he did, and there's so many other people that I just look and take away a lot of stuff from them just by looking and watching. And that's a quality that you need to have. Otherwise, you by yourself are not gonna grow like that, because not everybody has talent. Certainly I don't have the talent to do anything great like what other people do. So I have to observe them to be able to get a percentage of their greatness. So if you plan on starting, let's say, a gym or some sort of a store, go find a guy that is in that same space, and then at least be around them and try to observe and see what do they do, when do they start their day, what do they do first thing when they start their day. After that, what happens? Do they go to the gym? What are they doing at the gym? When do they come back to the office? What do they do first thing? How do they start their team meeting? And what happens after that? What are their processes? And you might not get all this information on day one, but having a slight idea in your mind about this kind of information certainly helps you be better at anything. Those are my 4 things. Now you can go on and on and on into other things that are also as important as these things to start a business and to make sure it stays and it doesn't just kind of go down and shut down, right? You can talk about cash flow, you can talk about marketing, you can talk about HR and how you hire people, and you can go on and on and on. There's unlimited things you can talk about. But remember, if you can't do a sale, then you cannot make any money. There's no revenue, and if there's no revenue, obviously there's no profit. So it starts off with the research and the customer. And once you have the customer, you got to make sure you're building a repeat customer base. That's where it's at. That's the secret that very few people talk about in business, but that's where it's at. Also, keep in mind, the last and not the least, but no shortcuts are going to work in any business. So if you take shortcuts, most probably it's not going to work. It is day in and day out kind of work. You gotta do the same. You gotta figure out a path of what you're gonna do, and you gotta do same things over and over again for a very long time for things to work. And you gotta show up every day at the same time, and you gotta do things that are uncomfortable. You gotta do things that are, not very. You got to do things that are really not, that nobody wants to do, that nobody wants to do, but you got to do it. You got to finish it. And everything that you build in life that is something extraordinary takes effort and definitely takes patience and definitely takes showing up every single day for a very, very long period of time, because that's how any progress happens. You got to compound it with consistency and discipline. So that's it. Yeah, that's the word that you have to remember. You have to compound things with consistency and discipline. If you are able to do that, then about 50% of your job is done. If you're disciplined enough to see how things compound every day, because you're doing the same boring stuff every day, and just keep doing it and see where it goes in 5 to 10 years, you will see a big difference. Cheers, guys. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Take care.